What is good? What's happening, everyone? It's your boy Ferris Madonna. Welcome to another great edition of the Rewatchers Council. This time around, we are doing our MCU themed episode. So you're watching it on this beautiful Saturday. Today, we are talking about the second Avengers movie, Avengers Age of Ultron. Before we get into the nitty gritty of the stuff we liked, the stuff we didn't like, did it hold up? Did it not hold up? I got some facts for everybody. It's directed and written by Joss Whedon. The top stars are Robert De Niro as Tony, Chris Evans as
Yep.
Steve.
Oh, De
Michael,
Niro.
My man said Robert De Niro.
I said Robert De Niro. Yes, I did say Robert De Niro. Hey, man, the old country. Robert Downey Jr. Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. The budget is 250 million but adjusted for inflation till now is 340.2 million. The box office, the original 2015 original release, we are opening at 191.3 million. That's a 260.3 million opening adjusted for inflation. Total domestic 459 on the dot. Adjusted for inflation, we're at 624.7. Domestic gross ranking, it's 7 out of the 32 at the time of recording. Total worldwide is 1.4 billion. Adjusted for inflation, it is 1.9 billion. Adjusted for inflation is the fourth highest grossing film of 2015. It is the 17th highest grossing film of all time. Was fifth during its theatrical run. So those are the stats and the figures that brought us here. But enough of that. Let me introduce you guys to my main man to help me guide you through do we like this movie? Do we not like this movie? It's none other than Justin. Justin, how are you, bro?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing great as well. Not as good as Robert De Niro though. Robert De Niro, shout out to you. But joining us, it is none other than Mystic Matt Munoz. Matt, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm just living inside Justin's beard and having a great time.
Apps, that's
Damn
wonderful,
right.
man. I
Damn
heard
right.
I heard it's a very
Underline it.
soft upholstery.
Mm.
Soft upholstery.
Mhm.
But like guys, like I said, every time I like doing this question, right? Because we're looking back, looking into the past. May 1st, 2015. Where were you, Matt? Do you remember? What were you doing?
Uh,
You watching this movie? Were you doing something else?
I'm pretty sure I saw this one in theaters,
Oh wow, okay, that's nice. Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, but it wasn't opening day. I probably saw it the week after it came out or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Justin, May 1st, 2015.
MCU was hitting pretty hard at this time. I was there, if not opening night, though, but definitely the first weekend watching the
Mm-hmm.
movie, uh, watching the second Avengers film.
Mm-hmm.
Was pretty excited going into it.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Guys, big question of the day. Justin, do you still like it? Did you like
Yeah,
it
I've
more?
always liked this
You've
movie
always liked
more.
it? All right,
Well,
hit
I've
me.
always liked this movie more than a lot of other people. I remember when this movie came out, uh, especially with like some of the critics and stuff like that, some of the people giving their commentary on the movie. A lot of fans maybe thought this was a little bit of a letdown, considering to like the first Avengers or whatnot, comparing it to that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I always liked this one more than most people. I thought. Always thought that this movie was pretty decent. I thought that introducing like two characters, Wanda and Fast Man. I
Petro.
always,
Pietro?
Pietro.
yeah.
Pietro.
Pietro.
What was he actually called like in the
Oh,
MCU?
he's Quicksilver.
Quicksilver,
He's
Yeah.
Quick.
but like
Yeah, he's
that.
Quicksilver. Yeah.
But I don't think they could use that name because of
No,
the
not
weird
yet.
stuff
Not
that was
yet. Yeah,
going on and
they didn't
everything
own.
else. And
Yeah, they didn't own Fox yet, so
so,
they
but
had
like,
to. Yeah.
I thought the introduction of those two characters and like why they were doing what they were doing was kind of interesting and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I actually thought the AI thing, which at the time probably didn't feel like that big of a deal, but today would probably hit a lot harder.
Yeah.
The AI thing was like pretty spot on. I even thought then, and all that. But there was like a couple of things in there that you can nitpick in this movie, but I overall enjoyed it.
All right, Matt. What about you, my man?
Um. Yeah. I didn't like this movie at first. I was really hyped off of the first Avengers, and this one just didn't like. I don't know. It didn't have like that teen fucking feeling to me. Kind of. I don't know what it
Mm.
was, but I did. I like this movie. Um. but it's always been the weakest MCU, the weakest Avengers movie to me, because they're like the big ones that you go to see because everyone's in it and shit, and just the other three are so good that this one's just a step behind them.
Yeah, yeah, I understand where you're coming from because you know you're comparing it to Endgame, Infinity War, and the first one. Of course, it's number four, but you can also compare it to Civil War, which is basically Avengers 3.5, or yeah 3.5. You can make that, you can compare it to that movie as well. So I guess why people say it's probably the weakest one, but I'm with you, Justin. I've always loved this film. I never understood why people were like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know." You know, I kind of, I think people really love the first one is because Loki was there because they love Tom Hiddleston, and it's the first time we saw it, so it's like the first time. But I think Age of Ultron is right up there with the first Avengers
I'm
movie, man. I love it. I think James Spader. People were like, "Oh, we wanted more James Spader," but we got a lot, and I think he really he hit it out of the park for me. I've always loved
right.
this movie.
So the thing about these first movies that we've been
Yeah.
watching and stuff that I've been highly recognizing, I mentioned in our last review that we done because I was saying the Guardians of the Galaxy was a really good movie,
Mm-hmm.
but that I felt like the Guardians of the Galaxy starts affecting the rest of the MCU because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, we just got to have a bunch of comedy and everybody's gonna love it and have fun with it and everything else. Well, you got to think about it. This movie was the next movie after that, so they really hadn't had time. It takes a little bit of time for Hollywood to like catch up or be able to implement their new plans because it takes a couple years to make a new film.
Because
This
they're
movie
making
was,
it at the same time.
yeah, this movie was already like written, already ready to go. Like after the
And,
Guardians of the
and Joss
Galaxy,
Whedon's very he did Joss Whedon, he's very, it's like, I'm not gonna be influenced by you people. I'm gonna make my movie.
right? So even though this film had its moments where there was some like laugh moments or any or jokes and stuff like
Party?
that, it wasn't like it still had serious moments in this. And just like some of the earlier films, serious moments that wasn't like overshadowed by trying to be funny. Like, so you had Quicksilver at the end, that moment, what happens with him, spoilers obviously, but we're talking about a movie that's 10
He
years
died.
old.
He's dead.
But like, yeah, so like you have that moment that I thought was pretty powerful, like even for like Wanda's character and stuff like that. You had other serious moments with each of the Avengers because like Wanda doing her thing where she gets in their mind and
Hmm.
how they're affected by all the little stuff that like
It's pretty
has
dark. It's
like
pretty dark.
that's happened to them, her taking
Yeah.
over Hulk and all this stuff. And it wasn't
PTSD.
like
Yeah.
right, it wasn't um just overshadowed by like we got to be funny, we got to say a joke every time. Like I
Hmm.
said, there were moments where there was like a joke, like uh Hawkeye talking to Wanda whenever she's like affected or whatever, and she's kind of just standing there, and he's having to like babysit her for a second, and he says like, no, 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 you can't do that. He has a talk with her, and he's like, you step outside, you're an Avenger. I can't be taking care of you, and stuff like that. And he's talking to her, and he's like, the a city is flying. There's something else going on. There's like metal robots attacking us, and I'm using arrows. None of this makes sense. Like that's kind of a funny moment in a serious moment, but it's kind of a cool like we know what we're doing here. There are some crazy things happening right now in this movie, but it is what it is. It's a superhero film. So I thought those moments were done better. I'm fine with having some comedy and some levity and stuff, but it's when you take the serious moments and
When it's
almost
time to
drown
be
them out by that.
serious, it's time to be serious. We're serious. Like the battle scenes, and they're fighting. It's very serious. They're intense. Them and James Spader are going after each other. They're not making little quips. They're funny during the party. The party, it was a fun-loving atmosphere. It was an after party. They made jokes. Rhodey tells this joke that doesn't work with Thor because Thor's like, I fight gods. I don't know what you're talking about. Then he goes tells this joke to like normal people, and they are like, ah ha ha, funny, funny. But when they're out in the battlefield, it's go time. It's very serious. And then also too, the time where Tony Steve walks in on Tony and Mark Ruffalo rebuilding the AI because they stole Vision, and he gets very serious in that moment. They don't make a joke. They're like, we need to do this. They fight, and then Thor creates him afterwards. I think this movie was pretty damn good, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Like,
like I
what
said,
about
there's
you? Oh, my bad. Just let me get
well,
Matt. Oh, well, let me get this talking about Matt. What about you, Matt? You agree with us? You disagree with us? You got your own thing. What are we doing, Matt?
Yeah, I'm going the other way. Fucking, this one was so jokey to me. Like my favorite movie, my favorite point in this movie is also a joke point, but like this one just had so many jokes in it to me. Like every fucking couple lines, it seemed like they were joking about some shit, and I'm like, all right, yeah.
Like, well, I'm gonna push back on that a little bit because, like I said, I don't mind jokes if they're in a moment that doesn't like hurt very serious moments. I still think this movie, you can say there are a decent amount of like joke like lines, like very beginning, like that first little
Language.
fight that wasn't super important. You had like the language part or whatever, but to me, it's according on how you do the
That's
jokes
it.
too. Like that's a joke that can happen naturally without even thinking about it. Right? Captain America is supposed to be like this,
Boy Scout.
yeah, Boy Scouts type of guy,
Mm.
and then a cuss word happens, and then he's like automatically like language. I can see that. Tony Stark's always been one to throw like quips and stuff like that out there. But like,
Are we just gonna gloss over the fact that Cap said language and Cap's like, I know, I know, I know. Sorry.
right,
But
but
I don't think they were out of place.
but no, like I said, there wasn't a joke that overrid like what happened to Quicksilver. They took that seriously. There wasn't a joke to any of the people in their like traumatic situations that was going on in the film.
They
Then there
made
was like
listen, they
heartfelt
made
moments, like Captain America when they're doing the whole thing and they're drinking a little bit, and
mhm.
Thor's hammers on the table, and
And it starts shaking and get up. And I love that scene because it's like you see it and then it's like just a shot of Thor and Thor's, his eyebrows perked
Yeah,
up and he's like, oh.
Thor knows that he could have picked it up.
I was like, if I gave him more time, yeah, if I
But
gave him more time, he'd have done it.
Captain America faked like he couldn't pick it up. Captain America could have easily picked that up, but like
Yeah.
when he knew he could move it, at first he was like trying because he thought he wasn't going to be able to pick it up because nobody else could. But then when he felt it kind of budge, like he just stopped, and then like you can see he like went back and acted like, oh, he did like the noise and
Yeah.
everything. But he could have easily picked it up because he's worthy of it. And then another time that happened in the film, which I thought was pretty cool way to do it, is everybody was questioning, is Vision good or bad? And then all of a sudden Vision just snaps up the hammer like it's the lightest thing in the world and hands it over to the Thor so they can
Yeah.
go do their fighting.
Yeah.
And that's when Thor and almost everybody else at that moment can realize, especially the fans watching the movie, that like, oh, he's good.
Mhm.
If he wasn't good, he wouldn't have been able to pick the hammer up like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like for him to be able
Then
to
also,
do that,
then Captain America and Tony are like, he's not a human, so of course he picked it up. The rules have changed, so they have their little joke, but it's not out of place. I also like what they did with Quicksilver, Pietro, where the joke he makes with Barton, where like he's faster than Barton, and he's like, haha, I didn't see that coming, and he's like jokey the entire time, and then at the end, they flip the joke on its head when he like stops them and he gets shot up and he says, huh, guess you didn't see that coming. And he's like very serious. Then he like falls and you're in that moment. It's very emotional. So they flipped the joke. It went from joke to emotional scene where, then you cut to, Wanda with noticing that her twin brother just died. So she feels it.
and the
she
key
like,
factor in that is that like it's not that he got shot that you didn't see coming, which is part of it, but it's a part of him. You didn't see that coming was actually a comment on like basically you didn't see me saving your life.
Yeah.
Because he just saved him and that little kid's life.
Yes.
There's a bunch of stupid stuff that happens like while the city's raising and the people's trying to get out and things like that, like the woman in the car, they just throw that scene in there and everything else. I'm going to forgive some of those things. And I do agree. I do see what Matt's coming from too. Like where he's talking about like, there is a lot of jokes. Like if you take the movie as a whole, there are a lot of jokes,
Yes.
but I don't just hate jokes to hate jokes. I'm fine with jokes, but don't like kill your important like scenes that are supposed to be emotional and you're supposed to feel something or you're supposed to notice something that's serious, right? Those kind of things to me is what like ruins some of the MCU stuff today, is because they'll have like a serious moment where even somebody dies or something and they feel like they have to throw a joke or something like that on top of it every single time. And it kind of overshadows that heartfelt moment. You'll get a moment here and there in the newer movies, but it's few and far between. In this film, there's about 5 to 6 things that I thought was like heartfelt, things that you could like really dive into and sink your teeth into that were serious. And I didn't feel like any of those were overshadowed by the jokes. But I do understand what Matt's saying. There still is a lot of jokes in the movie, which I'm fine with overall.
Yeah. It's 2.5 hours. So there's going to be some jokes. Let's get right into it. What was y'all favorite moment? Like, was there like a scene, a quote? What about you, man? What about you? Favorite moment? of the film?
Yeah, my favorite part's just when they're at the party and fucking all those old dudes, the war vets, are drunk and they're drinking with them, and fucking Thor has that liquor, and they're telling him, "Come on, fork it over," and he's like, "Oh, you can't handle this, old man." And fucking Stan Lee's there saying, "Come on, we were in Omaha or some shit," and then
Normandy, yeah, something
fucking
like that.
yeah, Normandy, and then
Yeah.
fucking they're dragging his ass out, Excelsior, like,
See, that was
uh,
hilarious, man.
yeah,
That was
that was the best.
hilarious. That was amazing.
Probably my favorite Stan Lee cameo, probably.
I love that shit, man. I love that part. That got me, man. That was a great scene, man. You picked a great one. What about you, Justin?
My favorite. I actually have. I'm gonna say my favorite scene because it's one of the things that has started happening already as we're going through the rewatch. Uh, that I've already been critical of, but that I loved about this film. There were actual like ramifications. Right. I'm not
Mhm.
saying in these movies that all the humans need to die that was in the city or any of that. But you could tell there were probably people either injured seriously or killed, like regular humans that are on the side characters in some
A
of
lot
these
of the
scenes.
cops were murdered because
Yeah.
of
And then,
Ultron. Yeah.
right. And then you also, on top of that, you had the thing that I was just talking about with Quicksilver, when he gets shot, and that's a heartfelt moment there. And there's no like, oh, we got some way to miraculously bring someone back to life.
Mhm.
And that kind of situation. So I really love that moment because it's one of the few that you can say, oh, there was a sacrifice that was made. Though it's a world ending event and
Mhm.
almost no one gets injured, killed, or any of this stuff, right? Like I said, I'm not saying I want a bloodbath. Like it might would be fun for me, like you know what I'm saying. Like if they did just have one of
Yes.
the movies be like that, but because I love horror and that's my favorite genre. But no, in a movie like this, I get it. They don't want to have a bunch of that stuff, but we need to have some of that stuff, and we
Yeah.
don't need to have those things taken away. Like Quicksilver doesn't get brought back. You know what I'm saying? He is gone. Uh, and that to me is like something that stands out in this film. It's still a film that has, oh, there's a sacrifice here. Uh, someone loses their life to save the world because
Mhm.
that's what's going to really happen. If we have a world ending event and people
People,
are out
yeah.
fighting and stuff, there's going to be a lot
Yes.
of people that die, a lot of people that get hurt and stuff like that. And I don't think that should be completely overshadowed. No, like I said, you don't want like mass bodies exploding everywhere and all that kind of stuff in these movies because it is made for like families. But there needs to be sacrifice, and I think even like say you're 10 or 11 or 12 years old and you're watching a film
You need
like
to
this
see death.
and you
You
see
need to be okay with it.
yeah, and you see Quicksilver in that moment, and maybe as a kid you get a little sad, maybe you thought the character was cool, and then like that happens, and you're like, uh, oh man, and then you can have a discussion. Me and my son, one of the favorite moments I had of me and him being at the movie theater was actually watching Endgame, and I had like watched it with some friends the night before I took my son, and I didn't think about it, but my son's favorite superhero at the time, and probably still is Spider-Man. So when I go watch
Infinity War.
Infinity War, yeah.
Yes.
So when I'm watching Infinity War, I'm sitting down next to my son, and that moment happens when he's talking to like Tony
Mr.
Stark, and
Stark.
he's like,
I don't
I
feel
don't
too
feel
good.
good. Like I don't want to die, and then like he's disappearing, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't think about it, right? I didn't warn my son or anything, and I turn around and look, and he's
Cried.
got like, dude, he's got tears. He's
Yeah.
not doing the
I
noise. He's not making noise, but water's steadily coming out of his
hey
eyes, dude.
man, you know what, Elijah,
And
I'm with you, man. I was with him right there, man, because that got me, man. Because I was like, I was like, they didn't just kill off like a rando superhero it's like they killed Spider-Man.
But yes,
Like, yeah, I
the
mean,
point I'm trying to tell with that is
yeah,
me and my son have a conversation on the ride home because of that, and it was a really great conversation. And then like I was like trying to make him feel better. I'm like, son, they already have the next movie set up. Spider-Man 4 or whatever, a 3 or whatever it was already in the works. I'm like,
3.
son,
Yeah, 3.
he's not really dead. They've already got a new Spider-Man movie coming out, like ready to be made.
No, 2. Spider-Man
Yeah,
2.
I can't remember which one, but
It was
they
2.
had
It was
already in
the
talks about like the next Spider-Man movie and stuff, and I'm like telling my son, it's like, son, he's not really dead. He's coming back because they're making another movie and stuff like that. And he's like, well, what if they're lying? My son was bringing up like, what if they're lying to us? What if they're just saying that to fool us and stuff? And I was like, no, he's coming back. But like I said, we had a really good conversation because of that. And like if me and him would have saw this film and he really liked Quicksilver, I could see us also having a good conversation and an important conversation to have with your kids.
Because he's
And I
not
think,
coming back.
well, it's like it's really tough to go and talk to your kid about a serious subject like this, right? And just bring it up out of nowhere. Like, why are you going to bring up something like this to talk about out of nowhere? But when it happens naturally like this, because you see a film or something like that, then you're able to talk to them about the subjects and questions that they have and have really good conversations of it. And it doesn't feel weird because it's natural because they just seen a event that happened in front of them on the TV.
Yeah, because also too, we can also talk about more loss. This time it wasn't, no one died, but you can see, the fracture of Hulk, where he's too unpredictable. His mind is messed up, and Bruce Banner, when he's in the Quinjet, he makes the choice where it's I'm done. I can't do this, and you see him kind of sever his relationship, not just with Natasha, but with the team, because he's like
Which
I
I think
can't.
that's the worst part about this film.
Oh, you didn't like that.
The worst part about that film,
You didn't
because
like that relationship.
I actually think the relationship Black Widow and the Hulk was really hitting its groove in this film. Like I started believing it and thought it really meant something. And then from them to tear it apart. But also, if you think about it, from this moment on, we don't get the Hulk. We get Bruce Banner with a mixture of the Hulk every now and then. It's always kind of dumbed down.
Ragnarok, he's only Hulk.
Right, but that's Ragnarok, like special case scenario. But like in the next films that we have coming up, like Infinity War and stuff like that,
He's in the
coming
Hulk
up
Buster.
later, he's in the Hulk Buster as Bruce Banner. He can't be the Hulk. Like, come on, man. Like, I want the Hulk to be the Hulk. He always had this like
Consequences, Justin. You keep talking about consequences.
I get that, but like when you have a character like the Hulk,
You want to see the Hulk.
Yeah, man, we want to see the Hulk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you want to see the Hulk. But kind of like a double.
You can have those consequences, but the problem is a lot of cases, except for like Ragnarok, like in a lot of cases, you didn't get to see the Hulk be the Hulk, right? Like because of this, like they could have still had this kind of issue that he was having. Like he's always going to have this issue, but like still had him be the Hulk at moments.
Yeah, then he became that that hybrid thing in Endgame.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we get the intelligent Hulk bull crap or whatever, bro. Nobody cares about how smart that fucking Hulk is.
Yeah, man. Smash, man. Hulk smash.
Right. We want Hulk being stupid as hell.
Yeah, and breaking stuff in half. But now let's break it down. Let's move it on, guys. The villain breakdown, right? Matt, it's Ultron, James Spader. It's one of Tony Stark's machinations biting him in the ass. Thoughts on Ultron? You liked him? You hated him? You liked him, now you hate him? Or you hated him, now you liked him? Where are you at with him?
I just never understood like his plan. Like that was my part about the movie is his plan to destroy the Earth was just so dumb to me. Like, how can this like smart ass dude be like, well, I'm just gonna rip a humongous fucking chunk of the Earth out and slam it back in and fucking that'll solve it. I don't know. I never got him. Like,
well, I think his plan was because he downloads all the information with at the beginning with Jarvis, and then he realizes, you guys, like I think like this one is kind of, I think it's like a trope with a lot of movies where it's machine is made to protect us. Machine then realizes humans can't be protected. We're actually scum. We're scum of the earth. We need to be get rid of. To really save the earth, we need to get rid of humans.
I do think this movie was too early. This movie hits more home, like in today's standards instead of then, because then you heard rumblings of AI. We kind of knew sort of what it was going to be, but we had no. Now there's all kinds of things being run by AI right now. Like that's a big topic. Even the president of the United States is talking about like AI and how we need to be like leaders in that and everything else. So it's like a real thing, a foundational thing now in today's world. But on top of that,
and like, it's ruining the earth, like environmentally.
I totally get it.
Just
think
like
about this. All right, so think about this. We're discussing a movie, right? And like I'd say Matt's a little different than me and you. Me and you are higher up on the movie than what Matt is at this moment right here.
We'll find out at the end.
We'll find out. We'll wait till the end. But the thing about that is in this discussion, obviously we have our own ideas. Even though me and you are higher on the film, we may disagree at certain parts of the movie, but then we still are about the same overall, but we have different opinions, right? And that's cool because we're having just a normal discussion. Nobody's getting their feelings hurt or butt hurt or any of that crap. But like when you look at today's society, it's like all or nothing on everything. And that's not good because not everything's black and white. Not everything doesn't have nuance to it. Almost everything has nuance to it. And in a lot of discussions and the way people talk about things, whether it's politics, whether it's things happening around the world, people just want to just be completely one-sided, like, oh, I've got the perfect solution. None of us have the perfect solution. We're all humans. We all make mistakes. So if you're an AI and you're in today's age, you're like, well, shit, we got to get rid of these people. Like they can't like understand things. Like it's almost like in a weird way with all the information that we have, people still only trap themselves into one side of the information. And this is pretty crazy. You know, like when I watch things or listen to things, I try to listen to people that I hate and listen to people that I agree more with. Because the reason why I will do that is because I learn things from the other side, even if I don't agree with their outcome or their decisions or what they choose.
What's that do with the Age of Ultron? Huh?
No, it's obvious. That's what I'm saying. Like you have an AI that's deciding that humanity can't exist because like it's doomed, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to like evolve or whatever. And that's my point is like an AI in today's age, I can seriously see that AI being involved in the internet for like 5 minutes and being like, oh,
you people need to go. Like y'all need to go.
Needs to be doomed.
Y'all need to go.
Because we got, like
and
I said,
you know
we
what?
got
That
people
AI
that
may, you know, he may have a point.
Bro, there's people that call people like serious names because they say they don't like a movie or they don't like a show. Yeah. They're calling them like racist or something like that. And it's like, bro, I just don't like the show. It wasn't written well. I don't give a crap about none of the other stuff. And like people just go to that all of a sudden now, like almost like they're rooting for a sports team on everything.
Well, I was more talking about, you know, he goes online and realizes wars and famines and he sees the genocides. No,
but like the interaction between humans, though, you know what I'm saying? Like it's real.
Yeah, but I think you know, TV, whatever. But I'm talking about he probably saw the more serious stuff. It was like y'all something wrong with y'all. You know what I mean? Y'all need therapy. All right.
No. I totally agree with what you're saying there.
Or we it's time for me to eradicate all of you.
There's bad things happening around the world at all times, but on top of that, just a regular, normal interactions where we should be able to talk to each other, understand, or at least try to understand each other, and not just go to like, oh, I'm getting in my bubble kind of situation. A lot of people go to this bubble and they either hide or they just attack for no reason without even trying to listen to the other side at all, period. And how are you ever going to, like an AI would see that and go, how are you going to progress as humanity? Because y'all can't even talk to each other. You think your side's 100% right. They think their side's 100% right. Nobody wants to like come into the middle and actually scuffle and actually learn from each other at all, period. So like, how are we going to advance when we can't learn from each other because we can't talk to each other? And AI is going to understand that, see that, and go, not only do you have bad things happening, but on top of that, how are you ever going to fix them when you can't come to any common ground because you can't even speak to each other intelligently?
Yeah. And you know what? The World of Metal, run by James Spader. Shout out to James Spader.
Probably going to be run by Elon Musk.
Yeah, that too, you know. He probably has James Spader's voice because his voice isn't very good. But I think, you know, I thoroughly love this movie. AJ, I think it doesn't get the credit it gets. I think it gets too much unnecessary hate. I love this film. I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah, I think it's better, especially now. I actually think this one got better on the rewatch, so it'll get a better grade than what I probably would have given when I first watched it.
Me, because I rewatched it and I realized like, oh yeah, this movie, a lot of people don't like it. So when I was rewatching, I was like, nah, I don't get it. I don't get it. I really like this film. I really do. I don't understand. But you know, let's keep. I think we've. Any other?
I do agree with Matt though. They could have came up with a more intelligent way for the world to possibly be destroyed by just like. I know it looks cool. They probably were just like, "Hey, do we want to?"
No, because he explains it. He's going to take a chunk of the earth, bring it up to the sky, then he's going to send it back down and use the yeah, exactly, like this, you know, like kind of like what they did. Yeah, exactly. You know, like, you know, we're the dinosaurs. It's time for us to go. It was a meteorite.
No, I understand what they did, but I do understand that like where Matt's coming from a little bit. They could have been.
You could have just, you know, like, you know, poison the water.
To
Or
me, the easiest thing would be like he's getting, and I think he was trying to get them at one part of the film, but basically get all the nuke codes. That's the
yeah,
easiest thing in the world to
that
do.
is the
Blow
easiest.
everything up
And
with
you know
nukes.
what? And the
And
reason it
they're
didn't
all
work
robots; they'll survive.
exactly, and the reason
Radiation
it
doesn't
didn't
kill them.
work, the reason it didn't work was the AI, the other AI, prevented it from happening. See, so
Yeah,
you had the duality of the AI. You have the AI that helps Jarvis, that becomes Vision, because shout out to
yep.
Paul. First time we see Vision, Paul Bettany. Finally, Paul Bettany's been in the MCU since Iron Man 1 as the voice of Jarvis, and now he's becoming human. Now we see Paul Bettany as the human form. If you know Paul Bettany, of A Knight's Tale was a great film, and that's the only thing I know him as. So yeah, we see that, and then he
My
so he
second,
protects the new codes. He protects the new codes. So
yeah,
you see kind of see the duality of like good AI versus bad AI. People aren't opposed to AI, but because there's in modern times we've realized some of the AI is bad for the environment, so that's more Ultron, and it's kind of destroying things. And there's good AI where it helps. With people want AI to like do their laundry, fold their clothes. That's what they want. They want AI robots to do that, so they can do other stuff. So like you
I
see
don't
the
want that to happen, to be honest with you, because I
you,
do
you don't
see a
want to fold.
world.
You don't want a folding
I
robot.
do see a world where they like wake up and be like, "Bro, y'all stupid.
Yeah, you don't want a
I ain't
folding
folding your
robot.
laundry no more. I'm gonna fold
Yeah,
you." You know what I'm saying?
exactly. Well,
But
you know what? Speaking of that, if you watch it, there's a show all about that. I don't want
my
it's the
well,
Orville. It's a pretty good show.
my second favorite moment in this film, though, is like pretty much the very end of the film where Vision is talking to the last remaining robot that's left over from Ultron.
Hmm.
I really like what he says there because I actually agree, and I think that's where we're going wrong in today's society is that like what Ultron says to him is like, yeah, they might be doomed to a certain point, but like there's a beauty in some of the chaos. And there's a beauty in the fact that we're all different and all have our differing opinions on everything. Sometimes we can agree, sometimes we can disagree, and all that stuff. There's a beauty in that chaos where every single human being is different in some way. It's like amazing that that could even happen with so many billions of people are even in like uh the world today and everything else, for every one of us to be individual and to have our own thought processes. But that's the weakness today, is like what I was talking about, is a lot of times we don't do those individualities. We're all acting like we're part of some kind of like team, and that's where we screw up, I think, because and we don't recognize that beauty in ourselves. It's fine that me and Ferris or me and Matt may not agree on everything. That's actually cool. Like we never know, we can have cool discussions and everything and debate things, and maybe I move a little bit here or I move a little bit there on this subject and stuff like that. But it kind of sucks. But like I said, it's not everybody. You got a lot of people that don't get on the internet every day and they act like normal human beings, so it's not as bad as what people
Yeah.
think when they're
Well,
online all
people
the time.
people need to realize online isn't real life because there's 7 billion people and not everyone is online. But yeah, so like that's the way I always say it. Like it's just a fun place to talk smack and
And even the
have
people that
fun.
get online, like not everybody that has a
Yeah,
Twitter checks their Twitter every day.
yeah,
Not
exactly.
everybody that has Facebook looks at their Facebook every day, right?
Pretty,
They
pretty
barely
much.
use it. So
Yeah. So final thoughts on the movie because I want to move on to our last thing. Matt, want to add something? We're missing something. You want a 2 cents?
No, I'm good.
All right, perfect. Justin, we've heard literally not just 2 cents, a whole dollar from you.
yep.
So the end credit scene, it's a quick little scene. We don't have to really, dissect it. It's the first time we fully see Thanos, right? Because I remember in Avengers, you see the side profile and he's talking to
No,
Loki.
we do see him pretty much full in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's only like a 5 seconds or 6 seconds when his chair turns
Ah,
around.
yes, yes, that's true. Yeah, yeah. So we've seen Thanos 3 times now. This will be the third time. So there's that, and this is the first time in this movie where Thor brings up the Infinity Stones, right? And
Yep.
we see the gauntlet, the famous gauntlet. One of the Infinity Stone that popped it all off was the Mind Stone that's in Vision's forehead. Thor said this is the fourth Infinity Stone that he has seen in the last couple of years, and he says someone out there is playing us like puppets, and I need to find out who it is. And it makes a reference to him, and then we see the end credit scene. Boom, it's Thanos. He's the one pulling the strings. I I want to know at the moment when you were watching it and you see that end credit scene, go back. We're going back 10 years. Wow, 10 years. Wow, 10 years. 2015. What were you feeling when you saw that? When you saw that end credit scene, Justin?
I was kind of pumped because I actually do think the Ultron, because you did bring it up earlier, and I really didn't give a little bit of a comment on this. Was I actually thought Ultron was a decent villain.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think he was that bad. It is, you are hampered because he's AI. He's not like an actual living, breathing creature kind of thing. But I did think they made the guy pretty damn evil and shit. Like, and he was getting stuff done. He was a little more developed than some of the not human, but like say bad characters we had in the past in the films we've already watched. But on top of that, Thanos is like, bro, okay, this guy's a badass. If they do him right, this is going to be amazing. He looked right. He looks the part. He's got all the stuff. Bro, I'm ready for the snap, baby. I'm ready for that snap, crackle, pop already. That was my biggest thing is like, we know if they do this even sort of right, he's going to snap them damn fingers. And when he does, a bunch of people's going to be gone. I couldn't wait for it.
Yeah,
like, I was like, hell yeah. How is this going to happen? So, yeah.
Matt, what about you, man? Take me back.
Yeah, the most Marvel I was ever into was always X-Men. So I I've heard of Thanos because collecting toys and stuff, but he was never in X-Men stuff. So I didn't know like his powers or anything like that. But yeah, just I was happy to see that they chose like an overarching villain that was gonna take them through a couple movies. That was like someone that would really challenge them. Like I knew they weren't ever gonna like really lose to him because that's just how the movies go and shit. But like he really like presented a challenge on his own, and then also when he had his huge ass army, like that's one of my favorite images of all time from Marvel is when it's just Cap and he's looking at Thanos' whole army right there and shit with all the ships and everybody like that. I wish I had a painting of that. It's so cool.
Cool. That's dope. That's dope. All right, guys. That's pretty much takes it. That's it. Takes the cake. Thank you guys so much for joining us on.
How many stars?
Oh, the stars. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. How many stars, Matt? Let's go with you. What do you give them? 5 stars. What are we doing?
I'm gonna give this one the normal 3.5 out of 5.
3.5. All right. Justin.
I would have gave this one back when I first watched it a 3.5, which is still pretty good. Like it's still an enjoyable film.
It's fine. It's a fine film, yeah.
Right. But I'm actually, like I said, because I think this is actually a film that should have been closer to today's time with this stuff and the subject matter it does. I'm jumping it up to 4 after watching it, to a 4-star movie.
And I agree. So it's been 4 for me. I think it's just on par like the first Avengers film. I think they're both in the same category. I don't know why some people don't like this one but love that one. I don't understand, but it is what it is. So 4 for me. Thank you guys so much for joining us, everyone. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and if you're listening on the audio feed, guys, each audio feed now is individual. All the links are in the description, so make sure to find the Rewatchers Council, this single audio feed on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube Music, you name it, we're there. So just go in the description and hit that link. Without further ado, Justin, where can people find you?
Obviously on here and everything else. I'm trying to get things situated, get everything calmed down for a little bit before I have to go get married and everything. And I'm going to try to do a little bit more of the everyday kind of news stuff coming up. But yeah, I'm almost there. Getting ready to do a little bit more of that stuff beyond just doing reviews and everything else.
It's going to be a party in the Northeast in late October. Matt, what about you, my man?
You can just find me on here with you guys doing reviews.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Appreciate that. But on that note, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. You can find me every week during on our post credits channel, which is our entertainment channel. Rewatchers Council. I'm on all 3 of them. Buffy on Thursday at 3:00. Angel is going to be at 5:00 on Fridays, I believe. We're moving them. I believe this one is going to be Should be
Usually
3 o'clock.
Saturdays.
Yeah, should be Saturday. Where you're watching this on a Saturday. Either you're watching it at 3 o'clock or you're watching it at 5 o'clock. I think we're moving everything a little back to trying to hit some flows, some algorithm. Then on our sports channel, you can find me every Friday, 5 o'clock Pacific, most days except you know, except yesterday. We did it at 4 p.m. Pacific. So there's that. Me and Caleb talk NFC East, American football, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants. So thank you guys so much for joining us. You guys have a wonderful day. Give us your scores. Tell us your opinions on the film in the comments. So we really appreciate it. We want to have conversations. Keep it respectful. Don't do that disrespectful stuff. Just tell us what you think. That's it. But you get disrespectful, you'll have an issue. But on that note, everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us. Have a wonderful time, and we'll see y'all next time.